Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 6.2 because we had some technical difficulties last week on Halloween. I think it was the ghosts. They were making, they were doing some tricks on us. So we're back here, November 3rd. Going to re record this thing, I guess. I'm Sean. Yep. Yeah. Keep fooling
Mhm.
around, buddy. Yeah.
And I'm
That's,
Corey. What's up,
that,
man?
that's the last thing we need. Hope you had a good weekend, man. You have a good fourth or a good I was gonna say 4th of July, but it's not 4th of July. It's Halloween.
Yeah, you know what was really funny is my wife wanted to have some of our good friends over, so naturally you weren't invited. But
Yeah, figures.
no, she wanted to have some friends over, so it was cool. They all
I'm
came
way too
over.
conservative for you guys. I agree. And
No,
her friends.
there was actually you were well represented. One of the girls in our crew, Shelly, she's gonna hate that I called her that on this if she listens. But yeah, she's conservative, so no problem there. You know how we
Okay,
roll.
I know how
But it
you
was
roll.
funny because there was like six of us, and everybody came to sit in our driveway, and we had Halloween music blaring, and we were setting up, the trick or treaters. And what was funny is we literally had one giant group of trick or treaters that came up right at the beginning, and then none after that. It was really funny.
Yeah,
I think that. Go
we
ahead.
ended up buying a whole bunch of candy, probably $50 worth of candy.
Yeah.
Probably had 10 kids come over, and we were set up in one of the neighbors' driveways, and it took me about 20 minutes of sitting there. Big bonfire going in the middle of the driveway,
Hmm.
and a
I saw the pics. It
bonfire.
looked fun. Looked like a lot of
No,
fun.
it was really cool. But it took me about 20 minutes. I'm like, where are the homeowners at? Like, and they're like, oh, they said it was cool. They're not home. I'm like, what? We're in the middle of their driveway, like cord of wood, bonfire going,
Yeah,
having
they said
adult
it was cool.
beverages, passing out candy, and the homeowners aren't even there. Like,
That's what's
I
up.
was just like, I was dumbfounded.
That's cool. That's
It
funny.
was pretty funny though.
But it looked like a really chill scene.
It was good. You should have came out.
Man, you know what?
I did. I did give
Next
you
one
the
definitely.
invite.
You did. But yeah, my wife already had made the plans, and then we've set up our back. 'Cause, obviously with me getting back to work and going through the surgeries and stuff, I've slowly been cleaning up my backyard after not having been able to keep up with it. And I got all the wood in our rack by our fire over there, and I built like a
Corey just said
picturesque
wooden
fire.
rack in the same sentence.
Man, I'm just not even prepared. Oh, and I didn't push the live button. Here we go. Whew. All right, now we're ready.
Wow.
But yeah, wood and rack in the same sentence. Nice find. But yeah, I built a picturesque fire. I got a whole bunch of compliments for it, and we chilled out there for a good couple hours. So it was a good time. Yeah,
No, that was awesome. That was great.
yeah. And likewise, man, your scene looked great. Obviously, you know that I'm a celebrity now. I saw that one of my adoring fans was with you, so that's
Yes,
cool.
yes, she was. That's pretty funny that she picked you out of basically a bunch of people. Like, hey, you Corey, and actually saw you.
Let's not pretend that with this beard it's tough.
Well, hey, at least you have an admirer.
Yeah, no, it was super cool. Yeah, so I was at the hospital, and one of Sean's neighbors was in for some reason, and was kind enough to say, "Hey, are you Corey?" and give us some words of encouragement, just saying that we balance each other out well, and she appreciates the type of conversation that we're trying to encourage.
She
So it was super
appreciates
cool.
us.
Appreciates us.
Appreciates us.
I had a stroke
Uh,
there.
yeah, a little bit. Is that coffee or is that adult beverages in there?
That is coffee, sir. I am staying up late this evening, very late, because I am preparing for my first 3 night shifts in a row starting tomorrow.
I mean, who scheduled you that like that? That was a
Some
douchebag move.
some prick. But no, I'm looking
Gosh,
forward to it, man. It's gonna be cool. I'm
it's
down
gonna
for
be great,
whatever.
man.
I'm excited to be back, so whatever, it's all good.
All right, no, I'm glad to hear that. Glad that you're back at work.
That
You
means
can
so much to me. You're a really good guy.
well, no, I mean, I'm just happy that you're able to purchase some more freedom to seed dispensers. Yeah, that's the only reason why
And we
you
will
need to
go
be
and
there.
dispense some freedom seeds together.
Yes, exactly.
And we'll do some shooting too.
Where are we
Oh,
at with these Hey, hey, ha,
hey.
ha, hey. I'm ready to bedazzle some swag if everyone
Yeah,
out
my
there would
mom
like.
called you out on that. My mom called you out on
I'm
that. She
still
said she
waiting.
was definitely the first commenter.
I know I need a template. I mean, I can't just freehand it. I can freehand it, but it probably won't look good.
So when you say a template, you mean you need a t-shirt with the design on it so that you can then bedazzle over that outline.
That is a correct statement, sir.
We can facilitate that. Have you bought your bedazzler yet?
Have you bought the T-shirt yet?
No, but I will. I can have that done.
Get the T-shirt, and I'll bedazzle the crap out of it,
All right,
and I
Mom,
will
that t-shirt
record,
will be on its way.
and I will record it and time lapse, and we can play it on the air.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't mind, since we've already recorded this episode once and we felt like it actually went really good, the conversation just kind of happened organically. And I've now had something to add on top of that conversation that's in the same ballpark. So if you would be kind enough to let me get it started and then we can jump into it.
Sounds good.
All right. So obviously I come from a more liberal family. And my dad last week was like, I listened to your latest one. And I think you guys are doing really good. I really appreciate the kind of conversation you're having, but you're not taking on Trump head on enough. And I said, well, Dad, I don't want to get disappeared. No, I
That's how you get
said,
on the list.
that's how you get on that list. Yes. And so what was funny, my mom and my dad aren't together. They divorced back when I was like a year old or something. So, but it was funny because I was talking to my mom today and my mom, was going on and on about Trump. And I had the same type of conversation with both of them and they actually responded to it really well. But what I said is that even if you're somebody who disagrees with Trump, now there's plenty of people that agree with a lot of the stuff that he's doing. That's fine. There's plenty of people that voted for him. Again, fine. But if you are part of the people that disagree with him about a lot of things or you didn't vote for him, you shouldn't concentrate so much on Trump himself. Trump is just a symptom of where we are. And what I mean by that, particularly, is economically in our country. Ray Dalio, who is a very, very prestigious investor, he's I don't know where he ranks in terms of how well he's invested, but he's considered right up there with Warren Buffett and others. He has chronicled this debt cycle that all countries go through, and essentially what happens is country becomes pretty prosperous. The government starts to print and spend more money than they have. This creates inflation. As inflation gets out of control, assets start to get more expensive, obviously because of the inflation. But as those assets get more expensive, only the rich can afford to buy them. So over time, the rich essentially buy up everything. If this sounds familiar, it should, because that's what we're going through right now. And you get this tremendous wealth gap, and then you get a ton of resentment. And so this is a cycle that's predictable. It happens. And at every point in this cycle, which is where we are right now, a quote unquote strong man comes to power. All right. So Trump is just a symptom of where we are. And notice I'm not saying symptom negatively. I'm not saying that he's bad. I understand that there are people that voted for him, that like what he's doing, so on and so forth. I'm not making a judgment as to whether it's positive or negative. What I'm saying is that in this cycle, it is predictable that a strong man will come to power when the debt gets this out of control. People are feeling unsafe. People are feeling really agitated about their economic situation. You've got other factors, immigration, all these different issues smashing together.
It also has to do with the Democratic Party becoming disconnected with their constituents.
100%. And that was another huge part of the conversation. A huge part of the conversation with both of them was that I believe that people like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have done a huge disservice to the Democratic Party, because They live in these very liberal states, and that's fine. You can have liberal states, just like you can have conservative states. That's fine. The issue comes when they have tried to enact these agendas that are very well received, or maybe not even in their home states, but let's assume that they're well received in their home states, and they don't allow any other Democrats anywhere else to run for their constituents. Like if you're a Democrat in Florida, it's fine. You should be running pro gun. This is a pro gun state. It should be fine that you're a pro gun candidate and you represent your constituents, but maybe you want to help facilitate healthcare for people. So you tend to lean on the Democratic side, but you understand that in a state like this, you're basically never going to get elected if you're anti gun. And that should be fine. But people like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have, made these issues, whether it's, the trans issue, making it the forefront. Not that I have any problem with trans people having their rights. There are conversations to have around youth teaching, where's the right place, all of that, whatever. But I'm fine with trying to stand up for their rights, but should it be the center of your platform?
Hey,
Should
I've said it before that Donald Trump should identify as a woman so we could have our first female president.
Bean, hey, we have a visitor. Oh man, come here. He's like, what the hell is going on in here? This is my buddy. This is Pepper.
That was very coincidental after you were losing the debate.
Uh, but no, I just think that I agree with you. The point being, I agree with you that the Democrats have become super disconnected from their constituents, and that is a huge part of where we are.
What's really crazy is that far the far right's actually more sane than the far left, and that's kind of scary.
In some ways, yeah. In some
Um,
ways, I think that we're not going to get into dissecting too much of the far right, but I think in general there is a consensus among the far right that they are at least quote unquote America first, and I think that
America
that's a good
first.
starting point. The idea
Exactly.
that we should want our tax money spent here, we should want to defend our borders, we should want to make sure that we're relatively safe, and
We should always
yeah,
do what's best for America, number
first.
one, first. Ah!
That doesn't even. All right, no, it does. But yeah, so anyways, these conversations were actually really good conversations.
Yes.
And it's cool because, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. A big part of what I said, first, don't concentrate on Trump so much because he's just a symptom of where we're at. Another big thing was, let's just say that Trump is breaking a lot of this stuff. And a lot of people are happy that he's breaking it because, again, you have this runaway money printing, which is why we have inflation, or the money printing and deficit spending. We've got this rampant inflation, and people are like, none of it even helped me. Why the hell are we going to keep going where we've been going? This is out of control. And so a lot of people just see Trump as and Chris Cuomo has said this a lot. I'm not saying that you listen to Chris Cuomo. I'm sure you know who he is, and you've got plenty of zingers. But he said Trump
Yes,
is
I
like,
could definitely roast him.
yeah. To quote Chris Cuomo, I think this is an apt thing, though. He said a lot of people see Trump as a virus that they want to inject into the body politique to make it sick because it hasn't been working for them. And whether you like him or not, I think that is actually a decent description of how a lot of people see it, that they want the system to become sick because they see it as super corrupt. It's not working for them. And at least if we break it down, we can try to rebuild it into something that we feel like is at least responsive to our needs and makes sense.
I think that for me anyway, I think Trump's doing a better job this term. The reason why is because he's not being as vocal as he was the last term. Because there was times on the last term I'm just like, oh, will you just please just shut up, please? I'm like, you're doing a good job. Let's just calm down a little bit.
You mean like when he was talking about taking bleach and putting UV inside of him?
That
Stuff like that?
never was said. That's a misquote all day long. He said,
Oh,
I wish
man.
we could. I didn't. He never said that
Oh,
you should.
hey, I didn't even say he should. I just said he was talking about it.
Yeah, he was talking about it, but he never said we should.
People are saying.
People are saying anyways,
Yeah.
now, there's things that I I like that he's very much pro-American. He's always looking out for what I feel is the best interest of the United States for the most part. Um, I can't say that there's stuff that I don't that I agree with. I don't disagree with him on.
Mhm.
But he follows my values, or he has my values a little more than the left.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
listen, man, I get it.
um,
I think elections are binary choices,
and
and people try to make that binary choice as well as they can based on the information that they're getting, the conversations they're having, so on and so forth. And
and
I
who do
think
you
the big,
think? How
yeah,
how do
go
you
ahead.
feel about Kamala Harris in 28?
I don't feel, I don't feel
I
about
think
that.
that's I think it's a
Yeah.
great idea because we might as well just go ahead and
No, my big,
JD Vance might as well not even move out of the White House. He just stays there.
I think the big thing, again, coming back to what we were just talking about, and this was reinforced in my conversation with my mom today. We need new Democratic leadership and just across the board. We need a whole new wave of Democrats coming in. I would love to see random that we're getting into this, but it's a joke that I have with my wife. I would like to see the Walking Dead Democrats. So, like, have you ever watched the show The Walking Dead?
Yes, but I don't know what you're talking about as far as Walking Dead Democrats. So please explain.
So, what I mean, The Walking Dead, it's funny because they were really, I think, just a mix of really good people. And there were a lot of times that they put themselves in harm's way for ideals, right? And so the idea that you should let people in who need help. Now there were times in that show when they got bit by that and they would have like this overreaction, and for a while they might be really hard about who they let in or whatever, but eventually they would always come back to like these core values. Like if we're ever going to rebuild, we need to have these values and they have to matter and we have to be at risk sometimes. But even though they advocated for those values, they respected that, like, hey, yeah, like sometimes you got to be able to crack some skulls. You have to be able to defend your family. So, like, when it comes to weapons and stuff like that, obviously they're in a world full of zombies and fighting other
So
human beings.
I'm not gonna lie. When you said the Walking Dead Democrats, I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking the actual zombies, like Nancy
No,
Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. They were
no,
actually the Walking Dead.
no. Yeah. Well, I mean, they might as well
Actually
be. They might as well be.
brainless Walking Dead.
They kind of are. But no, what I'm talking about is Democrats with some balls that aren't afraid of guns. They're not walking around scared of everything. They understand that the world is a difficult place and you have to make difficult compromises. And yes, we stand up for these ideals, but we always respect the individual um, at the individual level that, you've got to be able to defend your family and, keep your community safe and so on and so forth. Because these should really be core ideals for all of us. It should not be Republican or Democrat that I am allowed to defend my family and make sure that we're safe and that safety in general for our community is, paramount. That should not be a liberal versus conservative value.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Not at
So,
all.
yes, I would like to see the Walking Dead Democrats, some people that respect all of those personal freedoms that allow us to take ownership of our own lives, but do look out for those values of, looking out for immigrants when we can. And that, particularly when people are fleeing oppressive governments or they could be killed or hurt if they go back to I mean, these are ideals that have been core to us. Now, I know that we've gotten away from that because our border was flooded, and the question is, okay, how many of these people are really fleeing persecution, and how many are just full of crap? I get all of that, and I'm not saying I have the answers on how to parse through all of that properly, but certainly the people in our government can put in place some type of apparatus that can do that in a way that's more in line with our values.
You know, who I've actually been coming around to is actually John Fetterman. He seems to be. I know it seems weird, but I mean, he's actually seems pretty moderate
You know
for.
what? I've got some homework for you.
Yeah,
I want you to check out James Tellerico of Texas.
James
I
Tellerico of
believe his first name
Texas.
is James.
How do you believe? You have to know.
I mean, I don't, but very interesting candidate because he grew up, I believe he is actually a preacher. I don't want to be too wrong, but I think technically he is a preacher, but he certainly came from a family of preachers. He is a Democrat, but he's really interesting because, I think a lot of Democrats, people feel like, say that they have faith. Well, just like most politicians, let's be real, talk about their faith, but are they really practicing it? But this guy is really a man like of the Bible, and like all of his values flow from that. But he's on the liberal side of things, and he's not some kook. He was actually on Joe Rogan, and Rogan like loved him. He's like, dude, you should run for president. But you should check him out. I think that you'd really like him. Really articulate, like good dude.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Maybe.
But yeah, so to put a button on it, Kamala, please no.
Well, it's pretty much a guaranteed Republican win, so I'm all for it. Let's
Yeah,
go.
maybe, but dude, I don't know if there's any kind of guarantees
She
at all
lost
anymore.
48 states in the last election.
Yeah, that's true. But if hold on there, buddy, we've been talking about some pretty crazy topics like food insecurity and what's going to happen to the economy with super inflation. Things can get real dynamic.
Well, there's also a book out there called The Last President, so you got to be careful on what you wish for.
I'm not wishing for any of this.
Um, how do you how do you feel about this government shutdown that the Democratic Party has now rejected 13 times to reopen the government?
Again, this was another thing that I was talking with my mom about today, and I said, Mom, even if you give them the benefit of the doubt, let's say, because in our let's summarize this real quick because we had talked about this in the one that didn't work out, and that's why we're reshooting it. So essentially, I think the way that you wrapped it up was that the Democrats wanted to make sure that subsidies for healthcare plans
Hmm.
stayed at the appropriate funding level, so we don't have these massive increases, and that they also wanted to make sure SNAP benefits stayed in place, and that um, dude, I'm so tired. My brain is not working.
Well, basically, the Obamacare subsidies are set to expire with the big, beautiful bill,
Right.
and the Democrats are holding out for more of the healthcare subsidies, which is not unreasonable because if the subsidies run out, you could see up to 100% increases in healthcare coverage or insurance
Yeah.
premiums.
If I can, real
Uh,
quick, I remember
yeah.
what I was going to say is one of the more contentious parts of the SNAP benefit conversation was that you had articulated when we were doing it before that there is a portion of that we feel are people that are either fraudulently receiving, so going out of their way to receive it, or in any type of rational means testing wouldn't qualify for it. And so
Yeah,
that is one of the
basically
pushbacks.
there's basically about 2 million people that the Republican side um, deems are able to enter the workforce or able or should not be receiving these benefits, and then the Democratic Party is pushing back on the roughly 2 million.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
and so that those are, I guess, kind of like the two big issues, right? Are the healthcare subsidies and then the SNAP benefits. The healthcare subsidies are kind of straightforward. The SNAP benefits, where it gets contentious, is this idea. And I have to say, I was looking at some data, and there is this big spike in people using SNAP benefits during COVID, but that spike goes up and then maybe comes down, even if I'm being generous here, maybe like a quarter of the way, but never returns to its baseline. And so the question then becomes, um, are there a whole bunch of people fraudulently using it? I think most reasonable people would say no, that there isn't this mass fraud, but we certainly know that inflation has like gone, crazy since COVID. So that's probably what we're seeing, is that purchasing power has been reduced so much that more people are qualifying for it.
Well, exactly. I mean, $100,000 right now is the same as making $50,000 in 2021 or
Oh,
20, yeah, 2021.
is that
So
actually like
that
a
is a
stat?
legit,
That's
yep.
crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, how crazy is that?
Oh yeah, but the next election's a shoe-in, buddy.
Um, against Kamala, yeah,
No,
it definitely is.
I'm being silly. I know. I just think right now we're in such dynamic times. Like, who knows, man?
Listen,
I get what
if
you're
they
saying,
can,
though.
if we can figure out a way to get gas prices down, it's game over.
I know that
Yeah,
you're smarter than that. I
yep.
know that you're all the things we talk about, and you think
Eh,
that is just it.
That's it.
Come on, come on.
Listen,
And with that
if
being said, I don't even care. I don't even care about which side. I just want to see a movement of good conversation like we're having and more reasonable people emerging to take part in government and to just be reasonable. Like I said, Walking Dead Democrats, just Republicans that are okay, like saying, "Oh yeah, my side is doing this crazy stuff. I'm not cool with that." Like we
yeah,
should,
I also think we don't have to draw the line in the sand and dig our heels into the
yeah, yeah.
ground.
Well, that and compromise. Like we have to be able to compromise. It's insane that we've gotten to this place where it's my way or the highway. And so this gets back to, what you were originally saying. When I was talking to my mom, I was like, "Mom, even if you take it at face value and say that the Democrats, because they care so much about, and I know, but give me the benefit of the doubt here, that they care so much about these SNAP benefits and these people that are already food insecure, but then are going to go without having appropriate amount of food, and the people that are going to be whacked by these giant healthcare prices. So let's say that for pageantry, and both you and I have both articulated that we hate the pageantry and all the bullshit that goes along with it. But let's say that's how we work, and so you got to make a little pageant out of it. I think the time is long past. You made your point. I think that if those healthcare prices go through the roof, it's clear who the fault lays with on that. And
Exactly.
so if you care about the people right now in government that need to get paid and need to be able to take care of themselves, you're not doing anybody a favor by, yes, you're pointing to this coming crisis that's, a little while away and a whole bunch of people are going to get whacked by it, but you're just creating a whole bunch of people over here that are now in crisis.
I'm
And so,
just
yes,
saying,
yeah,
sign this thing. Sign this thing. It should have been signed on Friday.
sure.
Fight the battle later.
Yeah.
Point
Well,
the fingers later.
and
Let's get this
again,
thing done.
even if you accept that the pageant is necessary, and you and I don't think that it is, but let's say that it is because both sides do it, to be fair. Um, the time has passed. You've made your point. Again, people are acutely aware of who will be on the hook for the healthcare prices if it doesn't work out.
Well, let's just say though, for the government shutdown purposes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, the Republicans control the Senate,
Mm-hmm.
but you need a 60-40 vote
Absolutely.
in order to pass a bill. And how it currently sits,
Mm-hmm.
all the Democrats voted no, all the Republicans voted yes. So it's actually 45-55. Yeah, is that my math's right? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, 45-55, and so it doesn't go anywhere. So quit grandstanding, get
yeah.
it taken care of. Now it's actually even starting to, as of today, affecting air traffic control.
I know,
They're
I know.
grounding planes. These are affecting real people, And that video that I sent you today, um, that
Is this the
Instagram
one
reel
of
that I,
you in the bubble bath? Bubble bath?
yeah, it was in the bubble bath. It's tub time.
That was
Yes,
good. That was good.
it
That was
was tub
quick.
time.
I like
Tub
that.
time.
Top time.
Um, but no, the one that I was saying, if they can't avert a government shutdown, it automatically reverts to the prior budget.
Right.
And then Congress isn't allowed to do anything.
Yeah. Well, and there's a ton of people, whether inside the government, I think there's multiple pieces of legislation that have actually been proposed over the years. And then people that are outside of the government that have said there should just be a balanced budget amendment, And if you can't balance the budget, you get kicked out and new votes. And like, this is what we do. These people that just get to stay there no matter what they do and hold everyone hostage, it's insane that we've
Term
allowed that.
limits, I was never for it because I think there is something to um, continuity. But if this continues to happen, I mean, you have to start looking at other solutions.
I think the only problem, and I get what you're saying. Like I take your point. I think the problem with continuity and what we've seen it does to the modern government is that, in a perfect scenario, I think the way our government was drawn up, and I'm just freewheeling here. These are just my thoughts, though. I think that they genuinely meant for each representative to have equal power, each senator to have equal power, right? And so the longer you're in Washington, you kind of accumulate this extra power, you know, by just being there. And that's the problem is you see these entrenched people, whether it's Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, that they're just senators or House members, and they've accumulated this huge power beyond what their seat
You
actually
know,
is.
I get all that, but who in the heck is voting for AOC and how did she get so powerful? Seriously.
But it's funny. People are going.
Seriously.
Give me a minute here. People are going the same thing I said to my mom and my dad about Trump. You should take the same advice about people like AOC or Mom Donnie in New York, that they are just a symptom of the underlying issue. So, like in New York, listen, I totally think that Mom Donnie's policies are awful for New York, And I think it's funny that Republicans are getting their panties in a wad about it because if his policies go as poorly as we think, because, like, for instance, rent control, I was explaining to my mom today, rent control, like aggressive rent control, was tried, I think, back in the 70s or 80s in New York. And it basically became so non lucrative to own property in apartment buildings that people were just torching their stuff for the money because it wasn't a worthwhile business to run. And so if you do that, you're not going to fix the problem. You're going to make it worse. So point number one is, like, people get their panties in a wad about AOC or Mom Donnie. Like, they're just a symptom of the underlying problem. In the same way that, like, Trump, with all of his stuff is a symptom of the problem. These people feel like they haven't had their needs addressed, and they're picking what I think are bad options. Like, I think Trump is a bad option to pick. He's there. I think the AOC is a bad option. I think the Mom Donnie's a bad option. But people are just swinging for whatever they can because of the underlying situation economically.
Understood.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can come up with or they can come up with a resolution for this shutdown and it doesn't continue because it's not going to be pretty, especially when people start fighting for resources
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
and
what
it
I've tried
becomes
to
really ugly.
that's what I've tried to explain to people too, is like a lot of fruitcakes out there, man. They have it in their head that if things go sideways and we find ourselves with outbreaks of violence, that it's going to be like red versus blue, and it's not. It's going to be the haves versus the have-nots.
And the
And
haves are going to go into bunkers and you're never going to see them.
well, no, the really haves are going to go into bunkers and you're never going to see them. But if you're just a middle class regular person working out here, and let's say that, and now this is where you piggyback like the AI job disruption that's going to happen on top of the underlying economic issues that we already have. And so if you've got like 20-30% unemployment wherever you live, and there's all these like what used to be middle class people that find themselves out of work and they need food for their family, what would you do for your family? You know?
Exactly.
And so it's crazy. We all should want to think about these things and how they're going to play out, and hold our government accountable to actually preparing for them, because people like you and we're still going to live in this mess. Yeah, Zuckerberg's got his beautiful Hawaiian retreat that he can go to, or I think he built like I don't know, I'm throwing a number out, like a $50 million bunker. Anyways, like, the rest of us are going to be living out here. So yeah, it might be great that you still have a job, but if a whole bunch of other people need food and you've got it,
True that.
word.
Wow. Be kind to your neighbor. That's all I can
Seriously.
say is
No, but look out for one another right now, man.
look out for one another. I agree. If you have if you have a resource and your neighbor is in need, help them out.
Hey,
That's all I
build
can
bridges.
build bridges or build moats. One of the two.
Yeah, I talk too much. I'm going to let you go on for a little bit.
I don't know about that, man, because this is starting to get me down. Debbie Downer over here. This
No,
government
no,
shutdown thing.
it's sad, but I think that if we encourage people to think about it properly, and again, this whole blame game, at this point, they all have blame because the reality is the Republicans could have worked with the
Oh, they're
Democrats.
they're they're equally guilty of
Yeah,
this
just the same way that the
grandstanding, holding
Democrats.
out.
Yeah.
Like
So it goes both
I'm not
ways.
gonna point fingers at anyone, but at some point it has to give. And actually, the only thing that I will have to say is that the Democrats do hold the power to open the government, and somebody's going to have to give.
Well, wait. The Democrats hold the power to open the government, assuming they
Yes,
want to compromise on all of their stuff.
exactly.
Now, if you turn that sentence around, you could say the exact same thing of the Republicans.
Well, all the Republican stuff's reasonable.
Oh.
Oh,
But that's what I mean. Is this is all grandstanding by both sides. And the Republicans, man, they've been doing this too. I mean, you go back to like Mitch McConnell not being willing to um vote on Merrick Garland as a Supreme Court justice, and they were in an absolute minority. And no, at that point I think that they weren't in an absolute minority anymore. Regardless, this idea of the minority just exercising every lever of power that they can has been going on way too long, and it's rough, man. And I agree with you. The people that are being hurt by it, it's not worth it. It's crazy.
no, it's not.
Make your case in public, use your words. These subsidies, again, I think they have made it abundantly clear who holds the power to make those subsidies happen so that people's health care stays reasonable. And I mean, I don't even know that we can call it reasonable even with the subsidies anymore. But
Well, you know
yeah,
how I feel about capitalism. I'm all for capitalism. I feel like the companies have the right to make their money. However, I think that they should do it in a responsible manner. It shouldn't be all about making money hand over fist all the time. No, exact. I know.
bro,
I
sometimes you
understand what I'm
scare me
saying.
because you have become so much more moderate in your wise old age.
Yeah, no
But the
kidding.
way that
But
you talk, you're dancing around the idea that companies, well, yeah, they should be able to make, like a
I
good
don't think
amount of
the
money. But
but the government shouldn't be the ones that are controlling them. You should have uh, a morally responsible company saying, "Hey, maybe we could not make $4 billion and maybe only make $2 billion." And give
yeah,
some,
I get what
give
you're
some
saying,
breaks to.
man. But what you're saying,
The government interference part of it is where I'm saying I don't want the
I,
government should not have to regulate it.
I genuinely, not even being silly, understand what you're saying. I think the only part I take issue with is it's kind of like longing for the 50s, when people had more personal responsibility and when they built cars, they actually built them to last. We have this throwaway society now where these companies have calculated like every way to optimize their revenue by making a product that breaks down in just the right amount of time. They don't want to build something that's like super good that lasts forever. They want something that's going to be really great for a couple of years, but then you got to buy more stuff. And that is kind of the issue, right? Is they've optimized their revenues and they don't think about the long term, like with healthcare, right? Like you could absolutely say that these companies are just acting crazy because the party is going to come up. Like obviously the public sentiment has turned against them in really awful ways, like people celebrating, the murder of the United Healthcare CEO. And again, I don't agree with any of that, but I think what's important is to look at that and say, why? Why has our society become this callous? And it's a symptom of the underlying economic problem, man. Everyone knows somebody who's been really negatively impacted financially by just needing healthcare, you know? And that's
No,
crazy.
and I mean it's always deny, deny, deny. I
Hmm.
think that's like
Well,
the
it's become a
staple.
joke.
Deny,
Yeah.
deny, deny. Nope, we're not going to do it. Deny.
Yeah. I
Not
think
medically necessary.
I think in the wake of the United Healthcare CEO, the like a memo leaked from them. I forget exactly what, or no, I think it's what the guy wrote on the bullets. But I think that was from some kind of memo that had leaked from them, but it was like deny something, depose. But it was all about the way that they gum up the system and try to just get people to give up and just say, well, I can't even get through this, so I'm not going to get that care.
Sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, you should, I mean, you of all people probably know all about dealing with the insurance companies
I do, man.
personally and
Yeah.
outside, you know? I mean,
But it's funny, man, because like I get what you're saying, but you're in a weird place because you are in the same place.
the moral high
Ironically,
ground.
you're in the same place that I am, just on the opposite side, which is why we love each other. But it's
Yeah.
like I've had to have all these epiphanies, like God, I'm wrong about a lot of stuff, and I kind of get where they're coming from. Like I've really had this epiphany when it comes to capitalism, and that
Cool. If I'm the CEO of a company, yes, my main goal is to make my stockholders as much money as I can. I understand it. But at some point, you have to say, hey, these are real people that are being affected by my practices.
yeah.
Maybe we should look at our practices a little better without the government interfering.
And I understand what you're saying. I just think that the track record that we've seen in recent years says that that won't happen. Like when you look at the 2008 crisis with real estate, right? The majority of it was they got really loose with their lending practices. And so they were doing all these adjustable rate mortgages. They were doing like, I think there was even like a big component of them not even like checking people's
If
work.
if you really want to know the truth, in 2008,
Yeah.
they knew what they were doing and they
Oh,
knew that they were going to collapse the
oh no, no,
system.
that's my point. But they knew that
Uh,
they were too big to fail, right?
yeah,
And
they
that's
knew
the
they
same
they
thing
were
with
going to
these
collapse.
insurance
They
companies.
they were getting mortgage insurance on 103% loans on subprime lending.
Yeah.
They knew that they were going to get paid no matter what. They
Yes.
didn't care.
But that's my
They
point.
were gonna give
They basically said we are gonna this system. What we're doing right now, we're making money hand over fist. We're just gonna do it. We know that there's going to be massive ramifications, but no matter what, we're going to be okay. A lot of other people are going to get hurt. They didn't give a shit. I genuinely think that that's what's going on with healthcare right now. I think that these companies know that they're making money hand over fist. They know that the party's going to come to an end, but they've made the calculation that until somebody makes them change,
it's
that
just
they're going
like
to continue.
it's like the Big Short all over again.
It
It's
is.
just in
It
a
really
different
is.
industry.
And so that's my only pushback on you is that I appreciate where you're coming from, and I'm not saying I have the right answer in terms of how it should be done. My only pushback is just that I don't see them changing without somebody intervening.
Yeah, I understand, but in a capitalistic society, if you want to be a true capitalistic society,
Mhm.
you have to have minimal government interference, is
Minimal,
where
but
I'm
not
coming from.
no. You know?
Well, I mean, it has to be regulated, but it has to be to me, it has to be minimal. I mean,
Yeah.
in my head.
Well, I mean, what would you think about, like, for instance, I seem to remember, I don't know if this is still like a thing, but I remember back when they were having the whole Obamacare debate that there was some provision that they talked about where, like, oh man, I think it was something like they had to spend at least 80% of what they collected for policies
I actually
on
think that's
care.
still in the
It very well might be. But
it's still in there.
if that's the case, then we need to really evaluate them because with the stories that are coming out and how people are being treated, how widespread denials have become, it seems very unlikely that if that is a thing that it's being adhered to.
Well, let's just put it this way. Obamacare was very much unconstitutional for US citizens because it was basically saying you either have health
Uh,
insurance or we're going to tax you because you don't have it.
yeah, no,
They would no
I
longer
understand
became
that.
your right.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think that it's difficult because, like you don't have to have a car, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a choice. And so if you choose to have a car, We've mandated that if you do have a car, you have to have health insurance because simply by having a car, you could
Yep,
possibly have an accident. Well,
exactly.
simply by being alive, you could need health care. And so, again, I'm not saying I have a perfect answer, but you and I work in healthcare. If people are going to get really sick and come in the ER and they don't have care and they run up this giant bill, all of the second and third order consequences of that just being something that people do, and there's no like there's you can't, it's so difficult, right? Because you can't hold somebody personally responsible for getting really sick, particularly young people, because that was the whole big thing with Obamacare was like young people were up in arms. Well, I'm young and I want to play the lottery because statistically speaking, it's very unlikely that I'm going to need health care. So, I don't want to have to pay for this. But, a certain percentage of them do get sick and do run up giant bills. And then who
Why,
pays for it?
why, why, why should I have to prove to the government that I have health insurance,
No,
or
listen,
else I'm going to get fined?
I totally get it.
That is beyond unconstitutional.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand your reservations and your frustrations with it. But on a practical level of how real life works out, you are certainly aware of how this happens. And so part of why healthcare is so wildly expensive, other than the profit motive, is the way that we do it and run up these huge charity care bills, and hospitals have to eat it. So I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying I have a perfect answer, but it's just, I don't know. I guess what's weird in my head is people are so averse to the idea of socialized healthcare here, but we won't turn anybody away, right? So if you come to the hospital, you need care, you get care. We agree on that?
Well, yes, it's actually the law too.
Right. So we have socialized healthcare. We just don't pay for it. And so that
Perfect.
is my beef with it. Is like it's I don't know that you can say that it's a morally responsible place to be to have your philosophy in how you are going to allow people to access healthcare at odds with how you're going to pay for it. And essentially, for somebody that is very against deficit spending and money printing, that's essentially what we're doing by having this philosophy and not actually taking it head on.
It's only a couple $1 trillion. It's fine.
But no, but dude, I know it's hard, and I'm not saying I have the answer, but that is my big beef with it, is that for all intents and purposes, you might as well call what we have socialized medicine because people can access it and they're going to get
Well,
care.
true socialized medicine's not working out that great. Just look at Canada's.
Yeah, and the funny thing,
Except, I will say,
uh-huh.
prescription medications in Canada are way cheaper.
You know why?
Tell me.
Government regulate.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, but would you agree? I know that, you're not like a scholar in this particular area, neither am I. I'm just kind of asking you to give your knee-jerk reaction. Would you say that people in general think that Medicare is good here?
Medicare is good here, I believe.
Okay, Medicare, socialized medicine?
Yes.
Not completely, though. And you want to know why? It's
Well,
because
there's
Medicare,
subsidies on it. There's subsidies, and you can get Part B, and
well,
you can
right,
get
but
other private insurances with it. Because
Medicare,
it doesn't cover the whole bill.
Medicare is actually administered by private health insurance companies. The government just fits the bill. So I think these are where we need to parse it out specifically. Like we could still have private healthcare or health insurance companies trying to optimize things, because that's the big thing, right? Is like when the government gets involved, generally speaking, things become wildly inefficient, right? Particularly financially. And private companies need to turn a profit. And so they generally will keep cost, at a minimum. And so that's where a lot of people's beef comes in. I think that long term, if we look at the idea of the government fitting the bill, but private health insurance companies being regulated properly, and I don't know what degree, but that and this could just be like general healthcare, right? So like you need surgery, you get cancer, whatever, things that are through no fault of your own, whatever. But then, when you go to work, you could get all these extra plans. Maybe you're a person that wants plastic surgery and you want to spring for this really sweet plastic surgery plan that your work provides, or a really sweet dental plan because you have bad teeth and they're going to help you with that. So I think there would be a lot of cool opportunities. But a lot of people don't realize that Medicare is actually administered by private health insurance companies. The government just fits the bill. And I think that's why it runs relatively well and people tend to like it.
Understood. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do we have any lighter topics for the night instead of government shutdowns and
Dude,
talk
so
to me? Big
big
news.
news in our life, in
All
our
right.
life, and you're aware of this. But our little dog Ziggy, is he in here right now? Yeah, he's poor guy's tired as heck. I would have him come up here for his 15 minutes of fame, but
He had his
Ziggy,
anal glands expressed today.
no, he did not have his anal glands expressed today. He had a
Oh,
tumor.
oh,
So he had a tumor at like the base of his tail, like right where his butthole meets his tail. And it was like maybe, I don't know, like the size of a good marble. And we were just worried obviously that it could be cancer. And I have this like really bad past experience. I had a dog that was a Samoyed. Do you know what a Samoyed is?
I do
Like
not
the
know what a
big
Samoyed
white
is.
fluffy sled dogs. And he was my boy. His name was Suds because he was like soap suds. And so he was just a great dog, but he got a
Tub time?
tumor. Huh?
Tub time?
Tough time. So Suds got a really bad tumor and he was alive with it for years, but it was like necrotic and like smelled, and but it got so bad that like when he would go up and down stairs it would hurt him. Poor guy. Just I have this like, trauma that made me really worried about Zeke. So he went in for surgery today. They took it out. It turns out it was just like a fatty deposit that came right out when they opened him up. And Zig is behind me recovering. Poor guy had a rough day. He's like, what happened to my ass? But Ziggy is
Everyone,
okay.
everyone gives some good vibes to Ziggy right now.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I'm on top of the world with him doing well. I felt so bad driving him to the vet today. He was just shaking. And I was just, I love you so much, man. I'm so sorry. But I love you so much. I was talking to him and I just felt awful. But the fact that he got good news and he's on the mend, man, that is like the best ever. What
You just
about you?
gotta send those positive vibes out there. I just want to send the positive vibes out. Life's good.
You've got a lot of positive vibes going on in your life right now.
I know, I really do. Like, I feel amazing. I feel
Yeah,
great. I'm so blessed to be where I am right now.
yeah.
Can, I'm,
With great neighbors that you spent like all weekend with, just having a good time.
yeah, they were very, very nice. Everyone's amazing.
they they were very, very nice.
Yeah, they
No,
were very nice.
no, man.
Very nice.
It looked like you had a great time, and that's what it's all about.
No, it was a good time. I listen, I do have the best neighbors, by the way. Like, they're absolutely amazing. They're my best friends. And I mean, I can't, even if I was to move away, they would still be my people. Like, I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
With how crazy things have gotten, it's funny, right? Because sometimes I'm sure you get like a little of anxiety of like, you see some of the news. Not that we watch regular news, but you still, however you take news in. But you see all this crazy stuff going on, and sometimes like you can get anxious over it. But it's like when you're with your little community now, whether it's your work community, your people at work, but particularly the people that you live around, your neighbors, because it's a different kind of closeness, right? But like, it's amazing how you just spend some time with them and you're just talking, having a good time. You got a fire, and you're like, okay, things aren't so broken. Like, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, exactly. When all these people that are coming into the neighborhood that are from different parts of the country, they have different philosophies, they have different backgrounds, they talk funny because they're from New Jersey, and you just instantaneously you're like, all right, or do we just become best friends? Like it's like that.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just like, we're gonna drink on the weekends together. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
brother.
Yeah, brother. Just good people. I mean,
Yeah.
I think a lot of them came from the frozen tundra of the north to escape
The cold and high taxes.
basically, yeah. I mean,
For real.
I think that's what it was. They wanted to embrace that Florida Ron DeSantis lifestyle. And actually, my neighbor said that they came here because of Ron DeSantis. I was
Uh-huh.
like, that's pretty cool.
Hey, man, whatever. Hey,
You
yeah.
know, he's a good guy.
That's wild. Like that's funny that you said that because my mom will say so much stuff about like different places based on politics, and I'm like, Mom, what kind of lunatic would move somewhere or live somewhere for a politician? But
Well, I think
apparently, it's your neighbor.
I think it's more the idea
I know.
versus the actual person.
Believe me, I get it, man. Like, listen, obviously, I come from where I
That
come
and no
from.
personal property taxes,
Yeah,
no state income taxes.
100%. And dude, like, it's a good vibe. Like, I say to my mom all the time because she'll get caught in her own headspace of her political stuff. And listen, it's not all bad. She's not some lunatic. She just, she's worried, just like a lot of, uh, basically all of us are about, the direction of our country and, and specific policies and whatnot. But I'm like, Mom, you may disagree with like Ron DeSantis or the political situation here in Florida, but I was like, Florida's a great place to live. I love it here. And so you can feel how you want to feel, but even I'll admit, like, listen, it's run well. Like, it's a good place to live.
Well, I want everyone to focus on also attracting and manifesting what they want to see in their community.
Yeah.
Thoughts equal energy, energy equals outcomes. Your what you think is what you become and what you project into the world. If you're always negative, all you see is negative. If you're positive, you can see the positive. Corey, I think, put the link into the ebook that I put out.
Yeah, I think it was the fourth episode that I put the link on.
So if anyone wants to check that out, I worked on that one pretty good. It's about a 45 minutes to run through or so. I don't think Corey's watched it all the way through yet,
I
but
have
it's cool.
not. I'm waiting for you to actually watch even 1 minute of Tom Bilyeu's show.
I'll watch 1 minute if you watched my ebook.
Deal.
Done.
Because I
Game
don't
on.
think you'll be able to look away after 1 minute.
Maybe not, but I
He
did
spit.
watch the.
He spits
I
out
did
fire,
watch
man.
the.
He speaks our language. I think that you'll dig the way he digests information.
I did watch the free speech YouTube that you sent me today.
Yeah,
That was really good. That was really good.
I'm gonna put a link to that in this episode. I truthfully I don't even remember who the guy was. Uh, do you remember?
Yeah.
But I know that he was at the Utah campus where Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and he was having just a difficult conversation about that situation and how we should be thinking about free speech and how important that value is for him being, I think he was a first generation citizen. His parents had immigrated here, if I'm not mistaken. But just how
Yeah.
that is
I
what
don't know. I don't
divides
know who it is.
us.
I'd have to click the link in order to see who
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was,
But like you said, it was a great, just the
it was
whole framing of it.
it was really good. Yes.
And that
And
he's worried about where we are because the key thing that makes us so special compared to all the places that people are coming from is that in those places you can't speak your mind without fear of retribution. And here that ideal needs to be upheld beyond all else because that's what makes us so special.
so yeah, but like I said, be good to your neighbors. Your thoughts become your energy, good vibes. If you're spiritual, pray to whoever you're going to pray to.
Yeah.
Um, we're trying to build this community, and I think next week, I've been thinking about this a lot. I haven't even run this past Corey yet, but maybe we can do something about cultivating relationships and maybe get
Yes,
into,
I dig it.
yeah, let's do some cultivation of relationships. Also doing some, I'd like to get into some attachment styles, some psychological attachment styles.
Yes, you learned a lot
I,
of cool stuff that you
I,
shared with me
I,
recently about
I
that.
did learn a lot of cool stuff about attachment styles. Um, if anyone is out there wants to see some stuff, um, I don't know if he's on YouTube, but I know he's on Instagram. Benny Leckenwaller. He goes into a lot of, yeah,
I know every time you
yeah,
say that name, and I wasn't prepared to hear it again,
yeah.
but that name,
But he is great about attachment styles. Man,
what?
he is so good to explain the explanations of the attachment styles. It's great.
When you first told me his name, what did I say it sounded like? I think I said it sounded um like an event that happened. Like or like you're like, "Oh, the old Benny Lickenwaller. Oh, you pulled the
The
Benny
Lecken,
Lickenwaller on him."
but no, I'd like to get into some attachment styles, but also cultivating relationships, healthy relationships.
That would be a nice
Um,
change of pace. You know what would be cool? I think that we need to find our footing because just a little more. I think that the type of conversation that we're having is phenomenal, and I think a lot of people appreciate it, and the more people that see it will appreciate it more. But I think that we know that we need to talk about current events and try to, have that high level conversation. But maybe we should try to devote like 20 minutes to like, top news stories at the beginning and just try to, go over them a little bit more efficiently. And then we'll have like the more positive thing that we're building on for the second half of
exactly.
it.
But I mean, building the positive relationships, the spiritual aspect of them, or the
Spiritual.
spiritual. Hey, listen, I'm become very spiritual in my old age.
Dude, I love it. So I'm not even going to ask because it's a rhetorical question, but you pray.
Yes,
That's cool.
and
You,
I've also been, the 1122, the church that
yeah.
I've been following, and they actually just built a new church in St. Augustine, which is a few minutes down the road. Which I have, their first day open was actually Sunday. Didn't get there, but I plan on going this Sunday just to check it out because I think it's going to be a positive influence.
Have you applied for the altar boy position?
That is Catholicism. That is not this particular,
Ah, so it's
but
missionary.
it's missionary though.
Hold on, hold on,
Yeah,
hold on. Nah. All joking aside, I watched one of those services and it was really cool. And I'm very happy.
it's very powerful. It's very positive, and it's not one of those. It's not the service that says if you don't do this,
Mhm.
then you're going to burn for eternity.
Yeah,
It's more of, hey, this is what we think, and you should probably listen to us.
yeah. No, no, man. I'm super happy for you because it's been a really positive thing. It's evident from the way that you talk about it and
Yeah,
the way it's giving you support in your life in this moment.
I feel, what's really funny is I saw a meme today. It says it's like looking both ways before you cross the street,
Hmm.
and then getting hit by an airplane. 2025.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically where I was halfway through the year.
Yeah, yeah. And you've done well, man. You should be really proud of yourself.
No, I feel good. I feel good, man. Like I really do. Like
Yeah.
I'm complete 180, man. Complete 180, and I feel so good.
I'd
And
like to dig
just
into that more
absolutely
on
blessed.
subsequent episodes, like all the cool things that have happened in your life that have been so positive.
Yeah, exactly.
Like those great neighbors that you have and
Well, maybe during the cultivation of good relationships on the next episode,
ah,
we'll go ahead and start discussing a little more in depth on how that's influenced me, and also, how to overcome the struggles of relationships as well.
that sounds good. Would you
I
be
mean, I think
surprised? I'm sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
no, go no, 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 no.
I was going
By
to
all
say,
means,
would you be surprised to find out that I kind of pray?
do you?
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I'm more kind of like in the Buddhist realm, so a
Yeah.
lot for me is about manifestation, just kind of putting your intentions out there. To me,
Yes.
I don't literally believe that I'm praying to a god or whatever. I don't behoove or take anything away from anybody who, has their way of viewing it. But for me, for whatever reason, I have little quirks about me. But 11:11, you know, whenever 11:11 is, I see it on a clock. Now I'm always thinking about my intentions and the things that I want, but particularly 11:11, I always go out of my way to put it out intentions for others. You don't know how many times 11:11 hit, and when you were having your rough times, I was like, man, please, universe, just be kind to Sean. I really hope that he finds some good stuff and finds his way and da da da. Last night when 11:11 hit, I was like, please, universe, look out for Ziggy. I need that little man. I can't do without. But that's kind of become one of my little things in my time off here is the 11:11 thing.
So I always see 236.
Okay, that's
That
your
is the
time.
number that I always see every day. I see 236. I see 236 in everything, and it's what they call an angel number, and it's associated with eliminating negativity,
That's what it's all about, man.
focusing on good cycles, um, trust and positivity.
I
So
like it.
I do notice that. And I've noticed that before I even knew what I was noticing, but
Yeah,
I had to look it up.
that's super cool.
1111. I do know what you're saying with 1111,
Yeah,
but I'm just saying
the same thing. Yeah.
236 for some reason. I notice that all the time, and I notice it multiple times a day.
Yeah. And to button it up, just on this little topic that we're on, I would just encourage everybody, whether you're religious, if you're not religious, whatever it is that you may be, certainly you don't have to pray like you're asking for something. You can if you want. That's wonderful. However you choose to do this thing is phenomenal because it's for you. But at the very least, put some positive intentions out there. Ask nice things to the universe, to God, to whoever, for people, places, things, whatever. Just put positivity out there. And I've done it a lot for myself, but I really try to make it an exercise to do it externally, whether it's, for my animals, for my wife. I do it a lot. I try to do it for people that rub me the wrong way, because I try not to hold like negativity in my heart. And so rather than thinking that son of a bee, I'm just like, man, I really hope that they, find some positivity and maybe look at things a little differently or try to, find some compromise with other people. I think it's just a really healthy habit to not harbor that negativity and to try to manifest positivity in other places, if that makes
You
sense.
have to. You definitely have to manifest the positivity,
Yeah.
and whether you pray or whether you're manifesting, you honestly need to remember if you're chasing something, it's always going to be moving away from you. It's when you stop chasing things is actually when they come to you.
Yeah.
So think about it. I think about it as like what happens when you chase a dog. It's going to keep running. It's going to keep running. But the second you stop chasing it, it's going to stop. And typically they come to you.
Right. You can just shoot it in
And
the leg and then you can get up on it pretty quick.
well, that's pretty messed up. But I mean, you could do that.
No,
Or you
but
could take them.
100%.
Yeah. But
I
you
agree with you
understand what I'm saying?
100%.
Like
Yes.
the more you chase and the more you have to have something, the less likely it's going to happen. You have to stop. You have to disconnect. You
Yeah.
have to stop chasing what you desire.
Well, that and you need to like go inward, right? A lot of the times when you want all this stuff, like in particular, I think we would both agree with relationships. I know that when I found my wife, it just happened to be at a time when I had really gone through a lot of intense personal growth. And I had almost come to the point like, you know what? I don't need somebody else, even though I always wanted a really great relationship. And that was something important to me. I accepted the idea that I didn't need it and that I needed to be the best version of myself and be happy with myself. And ironically, that's when my wife comes into my life. And I just hope
Yeah.
that for you, with all the good stuff you've been doing, the personal investments that you've been making, all the positivity you've been putting out there, that, the universe rewards you and brings somebody really beautiful into your life.
The universe will provide.
It will. It will. I have no doubt.
It always does.
Yes, sir.
I have no doubt in my mind.
I doubt that you have doubt.
I have no doubts at all.
All right. Any other final
But
thoughts?
I don't have any other final thoughts, but I think that the next week's show is going to be pretty epic, especially if we can dive into some psychology and actually get some relationship building advice out there.
Yeah, and I think soon here we are going to have to dive into the realm of the lives. I think that we need to get some lives going. I've been watching a lot of my favorite podcasters recently, and they always kind of have that dialogue going on in real time with the little community that they're cultivating. And I think that would
Well,
be super dope to be able to schedule stuff and have people actually conversing with us back and forth.
I'm good with it, but we have to have that community buy-in.
Oh, 100%. Hey, man, I know that
Um,
we got a few. My mom will be all up on here.
oh yeah. And hey, we're trying to get you some of that cool bedazzled swag, but I can't freehand it.
All right, dude, I'm on the t-shirt situation this week. So
All right. Well,
when I when I
I'll
see you
bedazzle the crap
Wednesday
out.
morning at work, when I'm looking all haggard from my first night shift, I want you to show me that you have been on Amazon and purchased your bedazzler.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, bro.
Green bedazzling beads.
Oh no, they got to be multicolor.
No, green.
Oh, you
Our
want to?
our
You just
our
want to keep?
theme's green.
I know you want to keep with the vibe, and
We
you
got to
don't.
keep with the vibe.
You
Black
don't.
and green, man.
Yeah, and you don't want to get crazy with the rainbow stuff and get accused or put on the list. I get you.
No, exactly. And exactly.
I
Get
got
out of
you.
your mind.
I got you, bro.
Get your boy to get us some stickers too.
We could do
Get
that.
us some
Oh, we
stickers.
can do that. We're gonna make some moves. But yeah,
Hey, if
we're
anyone wants some swag, we'd be happy to throw out some swag out there.
oh
At
yeah,
least I would
and you
anyway.
better believe we will be doing some videoing of Sean bedazzling.
Beda- bedazzle. That's bedazzled. You done got bedazzled.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. That's enough.
All right. We have gone over time, even though we don't really have a set limit anymore.
We always do, man. We could really do this because, like, all these other people I watch go like 2.5, 3 hours, but they have like that community involvement going on. It could happen
Sure.
someday.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else
Zip it
unless you
up
want to
and zip it out.
zip it out. Well, this is Captain Shawnee signing out for the night.
And this is
Look,
Captain Blackbeard.
uh, like and share, please,
Yes.
and have a good night.
All right, man. Be good.
All right. You too.